Hey everybody, in today's video I'm going to take you through how to register a company in Ireland step by step on Core, which is the company registration office's kind of filing system. It's relatively easy to do, so you'd have no bother doing it yourself, especially after watching this video. The only time I would tell you to go and seek further advice is if you have a more complex structure. So if you have, say, a company that's only one or two shareholders, you're going to have no bother doing it yourself. But say if you have a more complex structure with, let's say, 10 shareholders with lots of different voting rights and different entitlements for dividends and stuff like that, you're definitely going to need the help of a solicitor to sort out your constitution so it's set up properly. But if it's a very simple structure, you'll have no problem doing it yourself. So this is the very first step that you're going to need to do in properly setting up your company. Is where you need to start. There's a couple of other steps that I've gone through in a separate video, like registering the company for tax, also setting up a bank account and registering the beneficial ownership of the company with the RBO. There's a couple of other steps, but you can check out that video as well. With that being said, I'm just trying to kick off here and go through it now step by step. So go get yourself a cup of tea or whatever, and hopefully this shouldn't take as long to get through it all. And if there is anybody still stuck after watching this video at any particular point, you can always reach out to me for a consultation. In most cases, I'll be able to sort you out in less than like half an hour. So I'll leave my email address down below if you have any problems, so you can let me know. The first step, what you need to do is to register for Core. So it's a very simple process, just take you 2 minutes just to register an account. And when you first log in, this is the dashboard that you're going to be greeted with. And to register a company then, what you need to do first is click start here under the file a form section. Then you will see a lot of different options, from registering a business name to registering a society, a different branch and all these things. But the one you're going to look for here, the one you are going to be looking for here, is a Form A1 application to incorporate a company. So you can just click start. So the form is loaded here, and let's go through all of these different steps, which are all relatively straightforward. So the first one here is just the submission date. I'm just going to leave that as today's date. And then you want to decide what type of company you're going to register. For 99% of you, that is going to be a private company limited by shares. That is pretty much what everybody is going to be going for, unless you're something like, say, a charity, for example, or a government body or anything like that. You might have a different way of going about it and need one of the other options here. But if you're just a regular run-of-the-mill company, private company limited by shares is the way to go. Next up then, it asks you about Section 137 bonds. So that is only if you are setting up a company and you're not actually, say, a resident in the European Union. You would need to have a Section 137 bond. So if you are in Ireland, based in Ireland, and you're an Irish national, you won't have to worry about that. Or you're based in the EU as well, you don't have to worry. It's just for people outside of the EU, you're going to need to worry about that. The following section here looks at owner management companies. Those companies are for the likes of apartment blocks and stuff like that. So unless you're setting up a company that is going to manage, say, a big apartment block or something like that, you don't have to worry about ticking that box. Then you're going to have to go and then decide on your company's name. You'll probably already have a name in mind, so you can pop that into the search bar here. Just be aware there are certain naming conventions and rules that you have to comply with. I'll leave a link below also to where you can kind of find what rules you have to abide by, and also you can't be really in conflict with another name that already exists. So whatever name you go with, just make sure it's original. The name I'm just going to go with here is Tutorial Company Limited, and you don't have to put the limited at the end, and just leave that blank at the end, and hopefully this name is not already taken. Okay, so that name is already taken. I have to go with a different one. Okay, so I found a name that was available here, Blank Name Limited. You can also choose the Irish version Tuoranta there if you want as well. For the letter of association, you don't actually have to upload anything here unless you've already, say, reserved some sort of business name. You can upload, and Core will basically link the company that you're setting up here with that business name. So if you haven't done that already, you can kind of ignore that section. The very next section here is basically asking you if you've used any restricted words in your name. So examples of restricted words would be the likes of, say, bank or university. So you have to go through, let's say, additional checks. So you wouldn't be allowed to use names like that straight out the bat. They probably have to go through some additional checks. So, but if you haven't used any of those type of words, then you can just leave that box unticked and move on to the next section. And then just add in your email. So let's add in mine here. This will be the email address your company's certificate of incorporation is sent to as well. So just make sure you remember which one you have here and you put in the correct address. The next up, then you're going to have to put in the NACE code. So this is basically a 4-digit code here that is going to basically describe what kind of business that you're in. There's literally hundreds of them. So just best select the one that describes the business activity you're setting up this company for. So it could be literally anything. So I'm just going to put in a random one here, but just make sure that it actually kind of some way links up to what you're doing. Next up, then you're going to have to put in your registered office. This is where all of the formal legal documentation and notices are going to be sent. Some people use their accountant's office, other people use their actual business address, so go with whatever is best for you. So I've just put in the address here, and that's the first section completed. Let's move on to the next one. The very next section then is to add in who is going to be the company directors and the company secretary. So it's just adding in personal details here. You're going to have to at least have one director which is based in the EU, and then you can have a company act as a secretary if you have only a one-person company. But other than that, just normally people will go with, say, a family member or something like that if they don't want to have a company be their company secretary. You can add in, say, someone you have close personal ties with. So I'm just going to add in a bit of random information here just so we can get on to the next step. Okay, so we're going well now. I've added in myself as a director and also John Dunphy here, and I've also added myself as the company secretary. Then I'm going to move on to the next section here, which is other directorships. You only really need to fill out this section if you were already a director of, say, another company that's been set up previously. They want to see a full list of companies here that all the members are basically linked to it. So if you haven't been a director of a company here before, you can completely kind of skip over this one and move on to the next section, which is company share capital. What you need to do here is add in the authorized and issued share capital. You can keep this very simple. If there is, say, 2 people in the company and you want both of them to have say 50% control of the company, you could have 100 shares that are worth €1 each, and you each own 50 of them. So that is what is going to make up your issued share capital. Then when we talk about authorized share capital, that is how much share capital the company can issue in the future. Say, for example, you set up a company that you think you're going to need further investment in down the road, and you're going to need to issue more shares than you did originally when you set up the company. The authorized share capital is basically the limit of what you can go to. But that can be changed anytime. You don't have to have that perfect. Now, some people even leave the authorized and issued share capital as the same amount when they set up. And if you ever need to increase it, you can always do it in the future. So that's basically what the difference is here between these two. So I'm just going to go and add these in now. So the currency is euro. I'm going to say share class A. Number of shares 100. And the nominal value per share is 1. So total value 100. And I'm going to do the same again for issued share capital. Currency, euro, class A, number of shares 100, and the nominal value is 1, total value 100. So as I was saying earlier on, if you have different classes of shares, for example, you might have one class of share a holder that is entitled to a bigger portion of dividends, or you might have another one that has more voting rights. Then you're going to need to probably talk to a solicitor and stuff at that stage to make sure you get everything set up correctly. But if you have a simple company with just 1 or 2 people, you can just do it here yourself. It's quite simple to work out. So that's pretty much all we have to do here for this company share capital section. And we're going to hit next. The next section here then is looking at the subscribers to the memorandum. So these are the people basically signing on behalf of the company, which are basically going to be the same people that we've set up as directors. So you can just add them in here. So I'm going to add subscriber. You need to add in their email address. So I'm just going to add in my own one here. You add entity type, and it's going to be an EEA resident individual. And subscriber name, I'm just going to add myself. And I'm going to add another subscriber and just add in the other director there as well. Perfect. So they've been both added now. That's all you have to do for that section. The next section here is basically a declaration that you're complying with some certain company acts. So you just need to basically put in a bit of information here just to confirm that you're compliant. So you can choose one of the directors here who is going to sign off on that. I'm going to choose myself. Add in say my address and everything like that. So I'm just going to do that now. So that's all very easy. You just have to put in the address of where you're carrying out your business and where all the administration of your business is carried out as well. Probably it's going to be likely the same address. So that's all you have to do for that section. In the next section here, we are generating the company's constitution. So that constitution is basically the rules that the company needs to operate by. You can go with a specific set of rules and develop them yourself, or you can go with a standard set of rules that really can get you going quickly. Obviously, if you're going to draw up some sort of specific rules yourself, you're probably going to need the hand of a solicitor to do that. In a simple company, you probably don't need to do it, but in a more complex company or any company that has, say, some sort of unusual circumstances, you probably need to talk to a solicitor about this part. But for simple companies, yeah, you don't really need to worry about it. So what you need to do first is add the subscribers to this constitution. The people are basically going to kind of sign off on it. I'm going to add myself, and here is where you add in the split of shares of each person in the company as well. So this is very important. So I'm going to split the shares 50-50 between myself and John here. So number of shares 50, class A. Add in my address here again. Then I'm going to do the same again, add in John here, 50 shares of Class A, address, whatever, 1 Road. Description here, I'm actually not really sure what that is, I just normally put in director here. So once you have the subscribers to the constitution added in, you can generate an automated one here. So generate constitution here. That should throw out a PDF here that you can download. So basically what I need to do now is just get both directors to sign it and get some sort of witness as well. And also just to fill in some bit of details there, and that's pretty much the constitution done. And once you have that constitution signed and done up, then you need to basically upload it. I haven't actually signed it at this stage, but just to get me on to the next step, I'm just going to upload the blank file there. So I've uploaded the constitution. Now I'm going to go on to the next step. Bear with me now, we're getting very close to the end here. We're now on to the verification stage here. So first thing you need to do here is for all directors and secretary are required to sign a form just to verify that all the information in your application is correct. So just tick that box there. Then you need to basically get, then you all will basically have to sign a form confirming that. So you need to print it out and then scan it and re-upload that form. So certifying individuals, then you need to add them down here. So signature as a director, select the director's name, I'm going to select myself, add in my email address, and then I think I'll be emailed out this form to sign. So I've just added in my details here that I'm going to be the person kind of signing off on all the information that is correct, and it's going to move on to the next section here, which is the summary section. So that's just a summary of all of the information that we've just entered in all the previous sections. You just have to review it, make sure everything is right. At the very end then here, you can save it in draft, you can preview it, you can submit as well. So that's pretty much all you need to do. Then you move on to the next step here. I'm just going to hit submit here. What's handy here as well is when you hit submit, they're going to tell you basically anything that you've done wrong. So just on the verification tab here, I should have added in also the secretary and director as well. So I needed to add in everybody. So I'm just going to add in the other names and their email address. So I'll add my own one here. So that's an easy fix. So it's going to add in the last secretary then as well. Then I go back to the summary page here and hit submit again. And then if you have done everything correctly, what you're going to need now to do is upload those forms that you have been emailed out. So I got an email there now saying that I need to sign something from the CRO. If you have done everything correct to the stage, then you should get through to here a stage where your filing is saved and they have emailed out a verification signature document to everybody. So everybody is going to need to sign that document and then re-upload them here on Core. And then at that stage, you can proceed to payment, and that's pretty much it. Your company application has gone through, and then depending on obviously the workloads that the CRO are going through, you should get your company number hopefully within a week, and at latest, let's say 2 weeks. I think they've been a lot quicker in recent times. So once you have your company, then you should get a certificate of incorporation, and you'll have your copy of your constitution as well. So what you can do then after that is you can only really proceed to registering for tax and setting up a bank account after you have done that. So this is the most vital step to have got through. But it's very easy, as you can see yourself. There's not much to it. You should have no bother doing it. And as I said, if you have any problems or anything, if you want a consultation from myself to help you maybe on any issues that you have, I can help you get it over the line. Contact me on the email address below in the description section, and I can give you a hand as well. So I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, I would really appreciate it if you drop a like on the video. Also, if you could subscribe to the channel, you'll be doing a massive favor to myself. Thanks very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.